Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
The Polish election results explained.
This video is sponsored by Nebula.
It takes 3 hours to
Look how he
screen.
spelled border.
Oh.
Like a hoarder.
Oh.
Poland is right in the middle of a geopolitical crossfire. This election matters a lot. All eyes on the presidential race. 3 contenders in the spotlight, but 2 powerful rivals behind the scenes. End of a political deadlock or a shift back to the right?
Round 1. Ooh. This is like a boxing match. Round 1.
Okay.
Poland has just wrapped up the first round of its presidential elections, where citizens had the chance to choose from a field of over 5 candidates. Out of this crowded lineup, 3 contenders stood out as the most popular, with one emerging as a clear frontrunner. And Poland's president is a bit more than just a ceremonial role. You see, in Poland's semi-presidential
There's some
system,
new names
there
I never heard of.
I never heard none of them.
Slavomir?
I
are
don't know.
2 key roles, the president and the prime minister. The prime minister you might know, currently Donald Tusk from the Civic Coalition. He is the head of the government and holds significant executive power, overseeing the day-to-day operations of the country. And the president is currently Andrzej Duda from the Law and Justice Party. He is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and has the authority to appoint high-ranking military officials. But crucially, the president also has the power to veto legislation, a power that has proven to be a nightmare for Tusk's current government. While the parliament can override the presidential veto, it requires a 3/5 majority vote in the parliament. And as you've probably guessed, Tusk does not have that supermajority. For example, Tusk's failed attempt to reverse the controversial judicial reforms by the Law and Justice government. These reforms violated EU law, and despite Tusk's effort to reverse them, Duda vetoed the changes, leaving the government at odds with the courts. Therefore, these elections are super important. And without further ado, let's have a look at the results.
A lot of
In
drama
third
going
place
on.
was Sławomir Mencen, a right-wing populist and chairman of the far-right New Hope Party, as well as one of the leaders of the Confederation Party. He's a tax advisor and known as an anti-establishment outsider, often criticizing the political elite. In second place was Karol Nawrocki, an independent candidate backed by the conservative Law and Justice Party. A historian and president of the Institute of National Remembrance, Nawrocki focuses on Polish nationalism and sovereignty, opposing EU influence. He's also an amateur boxer, often showcasing his skills on stage. And at the very top of the leaderboard was Rafal
That's
Trzaskowski,
funny.
from the center-right civic platform and an
Interesting, so they're all right. No, but they
Yeah.
Poland don't care for left, I see.
ally of Donald Tusk. With a background in political science, Trzaskowski is a former member of the European Parliament and is now the mayor of Warsaw. He is the leader of Poland's more liberal urban voters and the main opposition to the Law and Justice Party. But no one is president just yet. Under Poland's electoral system, voters across the country cast their ballots in the first round for their preferred candidate. If no one wins an outright
Center-right.
majority, over 50%, the top 2 contenders advance to a second round runoff. This decisive face-off, scheduled 2 weeks from now, will see these 2 candidates return to the polls for a direct head-to-head contest. Only then will we know who Poland's next president will be. And these 2 leaders could not be more different. Nawrocki's platform tends to be more nationalist, with strong anti-migrant and anti-EU rhetoric, positioning Poland as more sovereign and less reliant on European cooperation.
Eurosceptic. I've never heard that word before.
Eccentric.
Yeah, Eurosceptic. Is it like a skeptic? You know, like skeptic?
Yeah.
So skeptical of Europe? Of like EU? I guess that's what it means.
Nie zgadzam się na to, aby Unia Europejska decydowała o naszym wymiarze sprawiedliwości, o naszej
Oh, so this is, remember when I saw about the Trump's plan for Europe? Maybe this is the guy that wants to support, because he was also kind of like against EU courts. I don't know, but their whole idea was against EU courts deciding local law.
edukacji, aby ideologia Zielonego Ładu niszczyła polskie rolnictwa. My wchodziliśmy do innej Unii Europejskiej. My wchodziliśmy do Unii Europejskiej, która jest
Yeah.
wspólnotą
He had to join different EU. They want the EU from back in the day.
gospodarczą.
He's also a big fan of Donald Trump, aligning with Trump anti-immigration stances and pushing back against woke values. Nawrocki argues that Poland should focus on building an alliance with the US rather than deepening ties with the EU. He even met Trump in the White House and reportedly received his support. Trzaskowski, on the other hand, promotes a more liberal pro-European vision for Poland, and he's a vocal critic of the kind of populist and nationalist politics that Trump represents. Instead, he supports closer integration with EU leaders, especially with the newly energized Weimar Triangle, and is focused on pushing through rule of law reforms to align with EU values and secure access to EU funds. He also believes Ukraine's future is in the EU and potentially even NATO, seeing support for Ukraine as vital in the face of Russian aggression. This stands in stark contrast to Nawrocki, who supports Ukraine's fight against Russia but opposes NATO or EU membership for Ukraine. On immigration, Trzaskowski supports helping Ukrainian refugees, but has backed tightening benefits for the unemployed and suspending asylum rights for those crossing from Belarus. Nawrocki, on the other hand, favors a much more restrictive approach, prioritizing Polish citizens and limiting benefits for all refugees. So, these are the two candidates, and if Trzaskowski wins, this election could be an extraordinary moment for Donald Tusk, who has fought hard to regain control from the right-wing Conservative Law and Justice Party.
Wygrana Rafała Trzaskowskiego w wyborach 18 maja będzie oznaczała tyle, że Donald Tusk będzie rządził właściwie całą Polską, a jak rządzi, to wszyscy widzimy.
What an image it would be, Tusk holding both the government and the presidency. This could position Poland as a European powerhouse, strengthening ties with the Weimar Triangle, the Baltic states, and the Nordic countries. It might mark the beginning of something new, reshaping this part of Europe, perhaps even setting an example for Slovakia and Czechia in the future. A Nawrocki victory, however, could alter this scenario significantly.
This is interesting because technically, okay, Trzaskowski, he got more points, like 32, I think, percent. But he's like more on the liberal side. Nawrocki, he got only 29, I think, but there was also the third one who got like almost 15%. He was also on the right side.
Yeah.
So that 15%, I think, automatically gonna go to Nawrocki. So that puts him at like what, 42%, 43% or
Yeah.
so.
Because I was telling you, for the splits in the votes, who do you think they're gonna go to since they're fairly close to one another?
Yeah, so I don't, for Trzaskowski, it's no easy feat to get these votes. This is not just because he won the first one. I don't think automatically means he's gonna win the second one.
Government legislation would continue to face presidential vetoes, something that happened once again this week when Andrzej Duda blocked an effort to reform social security payments. This means a significant struggle in the government until the next election in 2027. And on the 1st of June, we'll find out who takes the crown, and with it, the power to shape Poland's future for the next 5 years. And if you haven't noticed already, I love elections.
5 years.
Staying up all night, not knowing which way it will go. And then finally, at the end of it all, feeling either thrilled, disappointed, or just plain relieved. But you know what I also
They
find
get to do
fascinating?
10 years
Our
total?
European history.
I
At
th
a time?
I think 5 years cadency, so I have two of 5 years. I think in Lithuania is the same, 2 of 5 years. Here it's 2 of 4 years.
And of course, one of the biggest events was the Second World War. I recently stumbled across a new creator with a series called Real Time.
Okay, I think
Can I
that's
see the comments?
commercial break. Yeah, interesting. If you guys are Polish, how do you feel? Let us know.
Initially, how much percentage points did the second place?
The second was like, I think
Nawrocki?
3% less than the first one.
3% less than the first
Yeah.
one.
One note: there are no independent candidates. It's a relic of Polish past to call them that. These would be normal party candidates and other candidates. The Polish election is so closely similar to the Romanian one, it's insane. Nawrocki is independent as much as Parrot is a fish. Oop. I was actually waiting for the video after watching the Romania and Portugal election videos. 3 election videos of 3 different countries within 5 hours.
Wow.
Bro has our respect.
Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.